What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this latest album from 21 Savage called I Am Greater Than I Was. Now, 21 Savage is a rapper who's coming out of Atlanta, and he's one of those artists who has really amassed quite a big following since he came out. He's improved a lot since then, but I will say that he's also a very divisive artist. The same reason people love this guy is the same reason why people hate this guy, and all that has to do with that monotone, deadpan, sort of monotonous delivery style that he has. Not everyone fucks with that, but regardless of how you feel, I think you have to appreciate his ability to craft evil bangers. I've certainly been a tough critic on him in the past because I haven't loved too many of his past projects, really haven't loved any of them to be honest with you, but I did think that he showed a ton of improvement on Metro Boomin's last album. Seems like his lyrics were a little bit better, his flows had a bit more energy, and thankfully you are hearing that here as well. I will have to say that his subdued style does work nicely in spots. I do admit that sometimes it fits the production, like on the song Padlock here, where we're getting this breezy atmospheric vibe and his soft style really works. But I think he really shines on this album when he does step up his energy and flow level, man. There's moments where you can really tell that he's been working at his craft because he's come a long way since some of those earlier mixtapes. So on Can't Leave Without It, for example, he's really working some great flows on that first verse. I'd even say that by 21 Savage standards, he snapped. But then you are getting some pretty generic features on this song, man. Lil Baby and Gunna show up, and I still do not understand the hype about these two. They are completely bland and flavorless pretty much every time I hear them. Nothing about them sticks out to me, but even still, this was an alright track. I just find that the features kind of make it or break it on this album. They're hit, they're miss, they're not really consistent all the way through, but that's just my opinion. Now, I will talk about some of the features I really did like, but just to round out some of the ones I didn't care for, you have Offset on 1.5, and it's not even that he was awful, it's just I am all the way Migos out by now. I swear to God, I could go like 5 or 6 years without hearing anything from Migos and I would be fine, really probably even my lifetime, and I wouldn't be that bothered by it. But yeah, so I didn't really care for that feature. And then you get Young Nudie on 4L, where he doesn't really do anything memorable other than come with the hard ER on the word nigga just for the sake of rhyming it. Always awkward whenever I hear that shit, and it kind of reminds me of that Drake clip when he's talking about somebody and he's like, yeah, that's my nigger, that's that nigger, or whatever it was he said. That shit, it just always sounds weird, and it's the same thing here. So, you know, the beats on these tracks are alright. You're getting sort of a Western type of feel on 4L, that was cool. I like the flutes on 1.5, but feature-wise and bar-wise, these were some tracks that really didn't blow me away. So, you know, you're going to get some of that typical 21 Savage shit here, where you're getting some generic bangers, content that's not really, you know, not the type of content you can dig into, like not a lot of depth, not a lot of great lyricism, a lot of gun talk, and I will talk about that later. You're also going to get a cookie cutter bad chick feature from Young Miami on A&T, and even though they are trying to rework the 3-6 Mafia track, Ass and Titties, at least that's what they're trying to do on the hook, they don't really pull it off that well. In spite of that, I still appreciate all the 3-6 Mafia nods and references throughout this album, because they are a super group who has got to be mentioned as one of the greatest groups of all time, man. Just this year alone, it seems like every other album they're being borrowed from, sampled, interpolated, whatever you want to call it, and it's the same thing on this one here. So there's even a banger on this project called Break the Law. That's a song that 3-6 Mafia has made a couple times, I think back in 95 and then maybe 2001, something like that. But the best example of this influence comes on the song Good Day. We get a Lord Infamous sample here, so I thought that was dope. Lord Infamous is someone who really has paved the way for a lot of rappers in regards to flow. I think this is a guy who really deserves more credit than he ever did, so rest in peace to the Scarecrow. And you're even getting a Project Pata verse on here, where he comes through with that classic signature style that he always does. Love hearing Project Pat feature. He's a guy who really sticks out when he raps, and he fits in nicely on here. This track has that 3-6 Mafia feel. And then you have 21 Savage himself sort of taking a back seat. He doesn't have a verse on here. He's just doing some hooks, pre-hooks, bridges, those sorts of things. But he fit in nicely because he's sort of working this old 3-6 style as well. Thought he fit nicely on this project, on this track, I should say. And we do get Schoolboy Q on here. Absolutely bodying the shit, man. Can we please get some new Schoolboy Q music? Seems like it's been forever, so it was really nice to hear him here. And this track overall just shows how 21 Savage has really gotten better at crafting songs. Just putting it all together with good beats, good features. You know, the content on this one isn't anything too fancy, but still it's a good track. And honestly, it's not surprising that I love this one so much, because you don't have much 21 Savage on it. It's mostly just Project Pat and Schoolboy Q doing their thing. But to move on, the feature that most people are talking about is obviously J. Cole on the album's opener called A Lot. Love the soul sampled production on this one, very smooth and vibey, and I thought it was an interesting choice for 21 Savage. And even though 21 really just kind of kicks it low key on this one, just like he did on the last track I was talking about, he's really just mostly doing the hook, and he does have a couple of bars here and there, but they're very short verses. Still, he fits in well and makes use of his time when he spits, "My brother lost his life and it turned me to a beast. My brother got life and it turned me to the streets. I've been through the storm and it turned me to a G, but the other side was sunny. I get paid to rap on beats." Not really anything too fancy with the flow. A lot of the times I think that monotonous, simple style that 21 Savage uses can get a little bit boring. That's just my opinion. But even still, I respect him for speaking on coming from such a hard place, having been through so many things, and he does a good job on this project of letting you know about that and telling you why he is the savage that he is. But of course, everyone's talking about J. Cole's verse because whenever he shows up as a feature, he fucking bodies it, and it's no different here, man. It just sounds like he's refreshed when he's on other people's projects, more so than when he's making a full album. So he starts off his verse touching on the topic of fake streams and how a lot of artists are coming up on that, and then he just goes on a tangent. He himself even admits that this verse is all over the damn place as he speaks on Markel Fultz, Dennis Smith Jr., and then he suggests that we pray for Tekashi 6ix9ine. And I actually found that kind of funny because why do we gotta pray for 6ix9ine? He pretty much went out of his way to do everything he could to put himself in the shitty position that he's in, so I don't feel bad for him, and I ain't really gonna sit here praying for him. There's also a really good feature from Childish Gambino on Monster. Gambino comes through with that usual charisma and personality that he always does, so I like that he kind of brightened this project up. And 21 was pretty good on this. Again, he has this line where he says, "All the pain and all the struggle made a superstar." This track in general deals with how money, power, and fame can take people over or kind of make you a monster. At least that's what I took from this track. And this is a sort of theme that you are going to hear multiple times throughout this project. You're getting a lot of shit about how 21 is just cold-hearted because of everything he's been through, and yet he's a superstar now who's still trying to find his way. He's even losing friends along the way, because on the song All My Friends, featuring Post Malone, he's going in about how some of his friends haven't been there for him ever since he made it to the top. You know how shit can switch up whenever you get to a new position. Those relationships can sort of fall apart, not really be as tight as they once were. So I do appreciate the content, but this wasn't a song that I liked because I'm not a big 21 fan in the first place, and then I'm not a big Post Malone fan at all either. So you put both of these on here. To me, this just kind of felt like a twangy Post Malone throwaway that could have been on the radio. Either way, I could see this being a very popular song because it does have that hit song feel to it, just not a song that I really cared for too much. And that sort of genericism that we're getting with that song is what plagues this album and really took quite a bit away from me, in my opinion. So on the songs Out for the Night and Ball Without You, you're getting some awful sing-songy joints. Some of that little auto-tuning he does in spots is just terrible. I forget which one of these tracks had that very aquatic bridge on it, but it sounded awful. You're getting cliche bars about ride or dies and Bonnie and Clyde's. Just nothing that great with those tracks, in my opinion, although 21 does open up a little bit about how he feels in regards to love and trust. And you are going to get some of those typical bangers I mentioned earlier. Just that very typical generic shit that it's all right, doesn't really stick out in any type of way. And the song Gunsmoke is a perfect example of this. You're just getting this very bland banger, very uninspired production. Like this just sounded like it could have been a mixtape track or something like that. And a very weak, repetitive hook as well. So you take some of these generic moments, some of the more monotone moments from 21 Savage, and it still makes it hard for me to be a diehard 21 Savage fan. But even still, man, I'm giving him full props because he really came up on this one. I even got to shout him out for the song Letter to My Mama, where he opens up, obviously to his mama, just speaking to her and showing love for her being there and teaching him to be a man. Very powerful track, and even though it's nothing new, it is nice to see this introspective side of things from 21 Savage. Even on the song ASMR, he opens up a little bit about how he's been on both sides of the gun and how that's weighed on his mind, and also some of the PTSD he's been dealing with because of the shit he's gone through in the streets. So I think he does do a good job. Like I said, he does open up about these things he's been through, why he is the way he is, and I really think he's improved his flows and lyricism here. So I ain't gonna get carried away. I'm not a big 21 Savage fan yet, especially when I look at this project and realize that my favorite ones mostly have to do with the features. But even still, man, I'm gonna go with a 3 out of 5 on this one, which might seem low to some people because I know a lot of people are really loving this project. But god damn it, for me to give a 3 out of 5 to 21 Savage is a big deal because I may have even given him a 1 at one point, or at least a 1.5. I know I haven't liked his past projects, but I'm giving him full credit here for really improving and opening up. I used to think he was one of the worst rappers of all time, but after hearing this project, I actually have a bit more respect for his sound and his style. Not that my respect really means shit. I'm just speaking personally for me. He improved a lot, man. And he's continuing to improve pretty much every time he puts out a project. Every time I hear him, he's a little bit better. So fuck, who knows, man. He might be getting a 3.5 or a 4 with the next one. But this is a good start. So that's how I feel about it. You guys can hit me up in the comments section with your thoughts and opinions. Make sure you let me know what you think. And of course, make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.